So the best part about CES, it's not the gadgets and all the cool technology. The friends you meet again, and Jonathan Hurd, we're here. We were talking about some of the stuff going on here. We're at the Innovation Award Showcase, which I look forward to seeing. But one of the innovative things you've been doing is looking at the price sensitivity of the skinny bundle.
Exactly.
500,000 combinations. Tell us what you mean. How'd you get to 500,000 combinations?
So first of all, Altman and Vilandrie and Company, my firm, is a 120-person strategy consulting firm, and we work exclusively in technology, media, telecom. So as you can imagine, every year CES is a must-do event for me. But we recognize this trend of skinny bundles and virtual MVPDs, meaning players like Sling TV, DirecTV Now, that are going over the public internet and delivering pay TV alternatives. And we said, gee, it would be really valuable for players across the value chain, whether it's cable networks or service providers, to be able to gauge the take rate of new emerging offers. So Hulu's announced, what kind of share are they going to get, and how does it depend on which channels are part of the offer, which price is part of the offer? These are really important questions for anyone who's considering being a pay TV operator or adding new tiers to their pay TV service. So the right way to tackle this is with consumer research, and we are very advanced in the kind of consumer research we do. So we asked 5,000 consumers a series of questions in research instruments that allow us to determine their price sensitivity, the appeal of 150 separate TV channels. So for 5,000 survey respondents, who are representative of the U.S. population, we know how much they value various TV channels relative to each other on an individual basis. So for example, how much more do they like CBS versus Food Network, or ESPN versus AMC? So when we have that information, we also combined it with information on price sensitivity. So we know for some consumers, and it turns out older consumers are more price sensitive in general than younger consumers. But we know the individual price sensitivity for 5,000 respondents. Then we took the combination of all the pay TV offers that are in the market today, and there's about 500,000 of them. When you consider for every individual, typically they have a choice between a cable TV service, telco TV service, and 2 satellite TV services. And now they have these virtual MVPDs, or pay TV services delivered over the internet. When you think about the various players in the market, and they have, say, 6 to 8 base packages, like a basic, select, premium, ultimate, whatever they're called, and then each of those packages has add-on options, like I can have HBO, yes or no, Stars, yes or no, Showtime, yes or no, etc., and regional sports networks. All of those combinations, when you put them together and multiply out them, you end up with about 500,000. So to gauge the impact of a new entrant like Hulu, you'd want to know, well, what would an individual respondent take among the offers that are available to them as well as Hulu? And we can do that now. We can gauge the market take rate of new offers that might enter the market, or even how to optimize existing offers in the market.
Well, and that's an interesting question there. You have an existing offering. I'm a small cable operator, and I kind of have some idea of what my customers want just based on set-top usage and stuff. So can you overlay that data onto yours?
Well, we can, but one thing about set-top box data and usage is similar to Nielsen ratings, right? How much are people watching channels? It's a little bit different from how much they're willing to pay for them. I'll give you an example. Weather Channel. People don't watch it all that much. However, it might be 10 minutes every morning that they watch it as part of their routine. They're willing to pay for it even though they might not be watching it as much. And that another example there is History Channel and Discovery Networks. For whatever reason, those channels really over-index, and I think the reason is that people feel like they're good for their family, right? Of course, History Channel, absolutely, I should have that, and same thing for Discovery. So we have actually, what our research has done is teased out that difference between willingness to pay and viewability. And so if you're an operator, what really drives your revenue is, I mean, you get some ad revenue, right? But it's minuscule compared to subscription revenue. So you want to know what people are willing to pay for as part of their offer.
That makes sense. And then I suppose the types of channels you offer and that bundle that you offer, it all plays together, and that, of course, the pricing.
It does. And one of the interesting things we found, speaking of skinny bundles, is that it's really difficult to create a skinny bundle that gets more than a few, like low single digits penetration. And the reason is that your must-have channels are different from my must-have channels. So even though we know on average what percent of the population says I must have CBS, and it's about 50% that say I must have CBS, or I must have a regional sports network like Altitude in Colorado, it's 5% of our respondents that said that was a must-have for them. But when you think about 5% in Colorado, that's a high percentage. So skinny bundles are hard because there are a lot of channels that people say I must have. And then the other thing that's a challenge is that in an individual household, males and females have very different interests. So even though we asked all the survey respondents to answer on behalf of your household, their individual preferences still shone through. So for example, 25 to 34-year-old males versus females. The number one channel in terms of willingness to pay for 25-year-old to 34-year-old males, ESPN. Not even in the top 30 for women. The number two for women, Food Network. Not in the top 30 for men. So how do you create a skinny bundle? And the idea is to get the price as low as you can, as affordable as you can, right? But when you get right down to it, people like having a lot of channels. Now, I actually think there's some different ways the world could evolve toward more of a proliferation of differentiated skinny bundles versus a bunch of copycat players. And, so we'll see how it evolves. But overall, we're not going to see a killer set of channels at some price point that generates 20% adoption or something. I mean, we're really talking about a fragmented and increasingly fragmented set of new entrants in the market, these virtual MVPDs, experimenting with different things. But it's good to have a sense, if you're an operator, what's my best portfolio of channels at what price points that would optimize my revenue, my adoption, or whatever KPIs you want to optimize. Is it revenue? Is it profitability? Is it market share in your geography? So we can look at all of those things.
Excellent, Jonathan. Well, it's always great catching up with you. And I guess, the VOD TV viewers will be able to see you at next month's NCTC WEC, right?
Yes, they've asked me to present on this topic, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks, Ken. Always good to see you.